Kane, it's 1-0. We're fucking down. 13th in the championship. The takeover happened, as I said it would. People will be... Oh, when have we got Leeds?
Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I'm absolutely gutted, absolutely crestfallen. I forgot what it's like to lose a game of football. To be honest, it's been a hell of a long time since I've felt this bitter taste in the mouth. But listen, we got what we deserved. I think we got what we deserved. We were not at the races in the first half. The changes helped Leeds United for sure. I think at the end of the day, Bamford wasn't good. Listen, Bamford wasn't good. I blame Meslier for the first goal as well. I think in terms of his goalkeeping for that corner was terrible. He ended up in 3 different spots. If he stays where he is, maybe Ellis Sims don't find the back of the net. But look, Leeds United, at the end of the day, Coventry are a good side. I said at a point before, wouldn't be such a bad thing. I'd have loved if you could give me a point now. It's so disappointing to know that Leicester have scored in the 87th. Ipswich have got beat, and then, we couldn't do what we needed to do in order to win the game, or even get back into it. There's a chance for Pirro right at the end where I was like, oh my God, if anyone I wanted to get there, it would have been him. I agree with what you were saying, Vic. There was an opportunity for Leeds to definitely get something there. A lot of people blaming Farker. I think the only criticism you can, for me anyway, is the pick of Bamford, but I was on board with that. I think he got the changes right after that fact. I think Nonto would have come on sooner if he were fit. Anyway, I'm going to pass on over to Joe. Give me your thoughts, bro.
It kind of feels like this has been coming for a couple of games. The performances haven't been great since the international break, since we came back. We had a really poor performance against Watford, but managed to dig out a result. We had that middle block of the whole City game where we just went off the boil completely. There's a lot of things that kind of bothered me. The tempo's gone out of the team. And that's when we were at our absolute best, is when the tempo was high. Again, we keep talking about it, but when the tempo was high just after the New Year, we were moving the ball quickly, we were minimizing touches, we were plenty of players running off the ball. Today, we're static, we're passive, there's no movement, there's players complaining rather than working hard. There was a real lack of energy, Joe, especially in the first half for me. The second half, when you bring all the attacking players, it gets a bit better. But ignoring Coventry's goals, like taking Coventry's 2 goals out of it, we didn't do enough. We barely threatened the goalkeeper. Pirro has to score at the end of the game. It's practically an open goal by the goalkeeper. It's 1v1. You're a striker who's scored lots of goals in this division. There, Bamford has to score in the first half when he gets that ball across the box, across the 6-yard line. It's a tap in. If he gets anything on it, he misses it. We've seen Joseph last week against Hull get that connection on that ball and hit the post with it. You've got to get across the defender. For me there. But all around, from back to front, everything was too slow. Like I've made notes on this. Every time Ethan Ampadu got the ball, he seemed to want to have a conversation with everybody in front of him. Every time he took a touch, he was talking and pointing at players. Now, I don't know if that was just him being annoyed that they weren't moving, but there were so many opportunities for him to get the ball and move it quickly out wide. And he had to have a say or take a touch. Joe Rodon, the same, was slow moving the ball. There was way too many touches. Someone needs to have a serious conversation with Jorginho, Rutter, and Chris Somerville about passing the ball at times. Because the amount of times they were in really good opportunities today, but they had easy passes, easy balls on. They went for the complicated one and didn't pay off. Now, I've always said it, if the complicated stuff comes off, it looks great and you get the plaudits and you get the pat on the back.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't come off, it's got to be pointed out to you where the obvious pass was and what you should have done. And that's just the rub of football and how it goes with it. But just not good enough. Cree spent most of the game walking around. Yeah. He seemed like he was just being man-marked out of the game with little effort. He wasn't tracking back. On 3 separate occasions, Somerville lost the ball and just stood and did this. Made no attempt to run back and get the ball. And just after Christmas, when he lost the ball, he was working his ass to get back, to get the possession back. It was it was a lot of small annoying things, but just all round it was just too slow. The tempo just seems to have gone out of the team completely, and we're not that great a side when we move the ball slowly. It's I'd have been happy to defend if I was Coventry today, the way Leeds were playing the ball in front of me. It was so slow. It was 2-3 touches, pass it, stop. 2-3 touches, pass it, stop. Another 2 touches, lose possession, don't track back. And it's really annoying because we really had an opportunity. I mean, the only thing we have going for us is the fact that Ipswich lost today as well.
Yeah.
But we handed it back to Leicester now. We've all
we have. Yeah.
Here, Leicester.
Yeah. I do. Look, folks. I'm absolutely crestfallen. I'm on the floor. I feel shit. But that's not true, folks. I know you may think it is, but listen, we've got five games, and us and Ipswich have to go blow for blow now. You would imagine. Listen, I always said with Leicester, right? They didn't make it easy for themselves today. I haven't watched the game, of course, but they win 2-1. They have 3 games. They had Birmingham, Millwall, Plymouth. They're going to win them. We said that. After that, they've then got West Brom. They've got Southampton. Ipswich have got to play Coventry away. They've got to play Hull away. It's not over yet. That's all I will say. But today was not good enough. Not good enough. Leeds United have 2 games now at home. Okay, we have Sunderland. They're terrible. Okay, they can't buy a win. And also Blackburn, who notoriously we beat at home. I can't lie to you. We also beat at Ewood Park. History says that. So look, as I get everyone's upset, myself as well. Like, I'm wounded. I'm absolutely wounded because it's not even
over though. It's
No,
not even.
definitely
It's not even
not.
close to over.
No,
You're talking
exactly.
about we have a superior goal difference to Ipswich. We're a point behind. Same amount of games played. And again, go back a couple of months ago, we'd probably be killed to be in this position at this point of the season, knowing that 5 games to go, you're still on your point off the automatic spots and you have a superior goal difference. But we've got to sort the performances out. They've got to get the energy back into this team. And that, I mean, Farke has got some really big decisions to make for that next home game. You know? Does he stick with the starting 11 he's stuck with, or does he freshen it up?
Yeah, I think. Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just kind of I can still hear you.
Yeah, it's been on all day, and I think he has to start Joseph. I think he has to start Joseph now because Bamford did himself no favours again. No favours.
It's 3 games in a row.
Yeah,
it's 3 games where he's gone out. He just looks like he's gone off the boil. I mean, his touches weren't great today. He wasn't holding them. Again, all the stuff that you can kind of say with Paddy. If he's not scoring goals, but he's still busy off the ball. He's still showing for it. He's occupying centre backs. He's a bit of a nuisance. He's linking the play. He's not done any of that in the last 3 games. The ball hasn't been sticking with him. His passing choice has been poor. Decision making across the but I don't want to single. I wouldn't single out one player in this. Even Ilan Meslier for the first goal. Yeah, he's a bit all over the place. But where's the defenders heading the ball clear? Where's people attacking the ball? Why is Sims completely unmarked on the goal line? Do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of.
I hear it.
There's plenty of blame to go around the entire side if you want to start, picking up players. And all of them just weren't good enough today. All of them didn't do enough. And he's got to sort that out. From the speed has to come back into the team. We don't look like a team that haven't lost since before the turn of the year. The confidence doesn't look like it was there at the moment. The international break seems to have done us more harm than good. It's really killed their momentum.
Yeah. No, it has, mate. You're right. But, we can bounce back from this. And this is
the important.
I think the important thing, Joe, for me is what's that? I don't know who it was who says it. I think it might be Sylvester Stallone in Rocky or something, where he says it's not how you get hit, it's how you get back up from them hits, right?
So you get hit and keep moving forward. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So Leeds United now have to do that. Another man that's going to bring some calm, I think, because that's what we're trying to do here, just bring some calm. The performance was terrible. It's great to have him back on the channel. Of course, it's Max from Leeds lately. Good to see you, my man.
Afternoon.
How you doing, bro? Oh, man.
Oh, it's just playoffs
a game
now.
Of football. Yeah, no, I know.
Oh, we're getting relegated, actually. You've got to take the context of the whole situation, haven't you? Yeah. Well, this is the first game we've lost this calendar year. We were due one. We were going to lose at some point. Ipswich dropped points as well. They lost, so we've stayed the same distance. And this is what I said at the end of my stream as well. And in my match reaction, you have to beat one of those teams, not both. Yeah. We don't have to be better than both of them. We've got to be better than one of them. And the one that we're probably going to be better than is Ipswich, who also lost and dropped points. So it's calm. Calma,
Yes.
calma.
Yeah, calma. I love it. Yes, exactly.
Tranquilo.
Yeah, tranquilo, exactly. Max, what do you put it down to today? What do you think? Is it just a cat? Like we were just chatting about Bamford there. His confidence looks to have gone again. I said after 20 minutes, I went. It's like you've got two Bamfords. You've either got one that's scoring Puskas style goals away in the FA Cup, and the other one that can't score from 5 yards out. And unfortunately, he's streaky. And at the moment, we're in a bad streak. So
Yeah.
Joseph as well, and I've said, like, can he do it for 90 minutes? People say Chelsea, but when he did come on, when the ball was there to be won, he was nicking it, he was winning it.
Yeah.
And I think now even I have to hold my hands up and say, yeah, I got that wrong. Get him in for the start, maybe.
Yeah, I did think that he wasn't. I before maybe halfway through the season, I was saying, people calling for him, I was saying, look, when have you seen him do this? Because I've only ever seen him do amazing things in the under-23s, which is not all the under-21s, which is not the same as the first team. But now, to me, that Chelsea game especially, and some of the other performances that he's put in late on in games, has shown me that he is good enough, and he creates his own chances. I think it's not a coincidence that he gets a couple of chances every time he comes on. I think his positioning, his runs that he make is mature beyond his years for a striker, and I think he's done really well. Also, that pass to Piru, the chance that he missed at the end.
Oh, it was
that
beautiful.
Wasn't it first time round the corner between a couple of players and just Piru?
Oh, he's got to score it, hasn't he?
Yeah,
just open his body up and put it in the far corner. It's
or just lift it. Keeper's always going to go down there, so just lift it. Not chip it, but like just put a bit of height on it, and it probably goes in. But it was such a P roller.
Yeah, and even Mateo at that point went over to Pirro and was like, "Come on, it's all right. Come on." And I was like, "All right."
Like he was the old player, and
exactly. Listen, I know it wasn't just Bamford, Christopher, not by any stretch of the imagination. I think Joe touched on it. Somerville passed the fecking ball. Dan James' confidence also seems to have gone, not doing the same things he was doing pre-Wales getting knocked out of the Euros. I thought Ampadu and Rodon were okay, but Joe makes a good point in terms of the passing, and Ampadu always wanting to have a go at players. I thought Firpo played well, but like Rutter, let's talk about Rutter. There was a number of times where the easy pass was on to James or to someone, and he turns back in, and I'm like, this is, I think, what Farker was getting at when he's doing these flicks. If it works, like you said, Joe, it's amazing. If it don't come off, it's frustrating. Sometimes you need to do the simple things. And I don't want to, I'm trying to remain, calm, because at the end of the day, he's been amazing all season. But this game, he was not. He was not good.
But you've got to judge it. We keep saying this. All year we're saying this. I know we're trying to change the narrative to make sure everyone does this. But you've got to take each performance on its merits. You've got to judge each performance on its own merits. You can't be going, well, he was bad today, but let's not talk about that. Let's talk about all the great games he played. We're talking about a single moment, a single game, and his performance in that. And again, I think from an energy perspective, his energy looks like it's not there anymore. He's not as busy as he was. He's not dropping as deep as he was, looking to get involved in the game. He's just a lot more walking happening. But again, it's not just him. I don't want to point the finger at individuals, but I used to say this to players, and I coached them, and it's a weird thing to say to a player, but it's, if you want to take a shot from 60 yards out, if it goes in the back of the net, we're all going to celebrate, and I'm going to give you the thumbs up and say fair play. If it doesn't, I'm going to roast you because you should have passed it to better options.
What about the shot he had as well, Joe, when we had him camped in?
Tony Drigo said it as well about that. Drigo said it about that as well. We've seen him do this a number of times. When he does get a chance on the edge of the box to shoot, it's a wild slap at the ball. It's a thrash. There's no. I mean, Dan James probably the opposite, where Dan James tries to always kind of just bend it into the corner rather than put a bit of meat behind it. They're kind of polar opposites of each other. But it's an entire thing. I mean, the build of play is so slow. So what can happen with that is if you've the centre backs getting the ball and over carrying it out, or putting their foot on the ball and slowing it down, what happens is your wingers will go early to get into space, and they're looking for those quick balls. And the wind obviously means that the cross field balls and the long balls probably weren't on today. So you've got to figure out another way to do it. So you move the ball quickly through the lines. You move it into midfield quickly, you move it into your 10 quickly, then you get it into the corners quickly, and you get balls in the box. Easier said than done, I know, but that's what you should be looking to do. But if you're slow coming out, everyone goes forward. It's another thing to say is, if you're a player standing in the middle of the pitch, if you're looking up and you see 4 players of a defence, and then Leeds add 4 more players to that mix, and they're all gone as high as they can onto the end and the 18-yard line.
Across the edge of the 18-yard box.
Has to be around the outside, because it's the only that's the only place there's space. You cannot go through the middle because it gets too congested. You ball start pinging off people and it gets sloppy. But we weren't moving that ball around quick enough. We weren't trying to get that ball into space fast enough. When we did get it to Nanto, we did get it to James, and we did get to Cree, they were marked. There was a player on them already because it was so slow to get to them.
Yeah.
The good side to this is we know we have another gear in us. We have another version of Leeds where that ball moves out quick and we push it in behind and we do it. They've just got to find that again. You know, they played today in second gear for me. They played against Hull in second gear for most of the game, bar at the start and end of it. And they played in second gear against Watford. They've got to get back into third gear. They've got to get back into moving the ball quickly. That creates space. That creates opportunities, and that helps us. But if you're going to stand on the ball, it starts at the back when you're attacking, and it starts at the front when you're defending. You know, has everyone done their job? Are players tracking players back when we lose possession? No, that wasn't happening today. Were players looking for the ball when we were going forward? No, that wasn't happening today. And it all breaks down.
100%. Just a few comments I wanted to chat on. I think Tyler, we all probably agree, but Nonto clearly wasn't fit enough. I think had he have been fitted, have been brought on sooner. And if he gets through training between now and Tuesday, I think he starts. Necromancer, we're not making excuses. We were poor, but I won't have that Coventry are not good. Because if you watch the preview, they are a good side. They've only been, I think, yeah, their home form is one of the best. You know, Hadji Wright's now got, I think, 14 in 11 games.
Yeah.
Not Hadji Wright, sorry, Ellis Sims. Hadji Wright has more goal or the same goal involvements, as Gio Rutter now. So let's not rewrite.
But also,
history.
Joe,
They are
I
a good
don't.
side.
Where's the excuse? What excuse?
No,
I haven't made any excuses. I've been saying that they weren't good enough. I'm saying I mean, describing why we weren't good enough isn't an excuse. It's a description of the performance. That's a breakdown of how we played. It's not an excuse. I mean, I haven't made any excuses for the team. I said it wasn't good enough. I mean, where have I said, oh, well, the performance is okay because we did this? You know, we lost because of, you know, a referee that robbed us or whatever. That's an excuse. Just don't make any. No one's making any excuses.
Exactly.
Here.
There are no excuses for it. We weren't good.
There's none. No.
With what you were saying, Joe, about us not moving the ball fast enough, and when the ball goes out to the wings, we're not fast enough to get it out there, so then they don't have the space. I also think that Somerville, whilst early on he was going beyond Firpo and trying to help him out and playing those little interchanges of passes that they like to do, getting beyond the man and then cutting the ball back across from the touchline. I think the later on into the game it went, the less that Somerville actually went and supported Firpo. So there was a lot of times where Firpo stood on the left wing on his own. He gets past the ball and then he's like, okay, well, usually Somerville would run beyond me, so I try and play down the line to him.
There's a piece with that as well, where Somerville's starting position was on the fullback in a flat back four. He had pushed on all the way. That wasn't what was happening earlier on in this year. What was happening was Cree was dropping 10 yards to pull this fullback with him. That creates a pocket of space in behind to run into, and then that gives Firpo that room to run in behind. The way Somerville was playing today was when the ball was going into Somerville's feet. He was already 10 yards higher than he normally is when he links up with Firpo. So Firpo has to make up that ground to start with, and then there's less space in behind for Firpo to get around. So it has to be a really good pass. And you know, so for me,
I think I
think it was the lack of Kamara there as well, because if you look at usually when Firpo comes forward with Somerville, Kamara's there and they're playing the triangles together. It's the three of them every time, and they'll give and go with Kamara. It will allow Firpo to drive further forward and Somerville cut inside. And I think the midfield and Kamara not being there to support them and everything, it just killed so much for Leeds. And if I'm being honest,
in the first half though, JT Kamara.
Who
he was poor.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
bad.
Because of Kamara's poor performance,
right,
that's what caused Somerville and Firpo to not have as much joy as they usually would, because he wasn't having the legs to get up there and support them, and he just looked completely lost. The whole midfield looked lost for me. Even Ilya Gruev, I thought, was especially poor today. I mean, he didn't look.
I thought
fit
he was
at
the
all.
answer, bro. I thought he was the answer.
So I mean, everyone's saying he's the answer, and mate, the guy couldn't answer a key stage 3 maths test, let alone a game against Coventry. That was ridiculous.
No.
What do you mean, what did he do today, man? He's not fit. He offered
We're
us more.
talking about it in general, man, and he's been really, really good.
Oh no, he's been great.
He's been injured. He comes back in.
Oh no. Usually he's like a quantum physics mechanic. You know, yeah, he can answer everything. I'm just saying today he couldn't answer key stage 3 maths. It's just the way. I don't think he was fit enough because if you look at that, the second goal they scored, he was right next to a guy and he fucking crossed in. He didn't press him at all. He didn't close him down. He just stepped off. At least Somerville, if you see it a second before, he sprints. He tries to stop him from going down, but Gruev's just stood there. And I don't blame him because listen, he's just come back from an injury, so I'm not blaming him. I blame Fark for not making changes proactively enough. I mean, yes, he made the Kamara change at 45th minute. Was he forced into that? I don't know. I thought that was a good change at the time. But come on, we're all saying, listen, I love Bamford, but he's not having his best game. It's not really working out there. Dan James, I thought, was really, really off the boil today. I thought he could have been taken off a lot earlier.
They don't get in the support, though, is the issue. Because if you give the ball to Dan James out on the wing, I don't expect Dan James to be doing things on his own. He's not that sort of player. See Somerville later on in the game. He was quite poor today, Somerville, but he had moments where he would go past 2 or 3 players and get the ball across the box. And you go, okay, yeah, he can create something out of nothing. But sometimes you're not going to get that from Dan James. So you have to support him. You have to have a fullback going beyond him, or like you say, JT, where it would usually be a Kamara or somebody else drifting over and helping those out in those situations. So Jorginho probably drifts out to the right and helps them. That wasn't happening. And then you get isolated wingers where the fullbacks come and step across and win the ball back. I mean, there was one point where, like Jer says, because we moved the ball so slowly, across their back line, I think I counted 7 or 8 blue shirts across the 18-yard box. And I thought, how on earth are we going to get through that? There's no way you get through that. Yeah.
Because it's so slow, your defense can stay really narrow and tight together. But it's 2 or 3 touches before the ball gets out to James, which means if you're a fullback, you can nearly jog across and be at James before the ball ever gets to him. So which removes the space again for him to play in. And again, I keep going back to the same thing. Because they were so high so early, there was no space in behind to play in. And like if you're going to play Dan James, you've got to make space in behind. So you've got to drag the defenders higher up the park. You've got to bring your players a little bit deeper in order to pull their back line out to play in behind. Or you take Dan James out and you bring Nanto in earlier because he doesn't need as much space. Plays a different type of player, plays a different type of game.
He did well as well when he came on, Nanto. I thought he created stuff other than his corner.
He did, but I think maybe he wasn't fit enough to come on early, to come on sooner. But in that case, bring Jaden Anthony on. Because last time Jaden Anthony came on, I thought he was actually very good. And I thought he would have been a lot better because Dan James actually had the ball outside the 18-yard box there a lot of times, but his game is not necessarily crossing the ball from deep. I thought he'd improved it a lot this season, compared to a couple of years ago where he couldn't cross a zebra crossing. But now
putting him with his left and putting the ball across the box.
But I mean, his crosses were hitting the first man every time. If they weren't, they were going straight over for a throw in on the other end, and that's where the game was lost for me. Our delivery was awful. I mean, to be fair, there was a good opportunity for Dan James. You say he's not the guy that's going to take 2 or 3 players on. There was a great opportunity in the first half. Somerville, I believe, makes the run. He's right on the edge of the 18-yard box. Great chance. And James decides he's Maradona and starts trying to take on 3 or 4 players and swivel through and shoot. And I'm just confused. The decision-making
that's the big one. But that's across the board. Because, again, you look at it. Jorginho Rutter, how many times in the first half did he get caught in possession and lose the ball? Nearly every time he got the ball, he'd try and turn into players, lose it. And it was consistent. Every time Leeds are building a bit of pressure, it goes into Georgie's feet. He tries to twist and turn, loses possession. Doesn't do the easy pass. Ball goes into Cree's feet, tries to take on 2 or 3 players, kicks it against somebody, lose possession. That's stuff that we weren't doing earlier on in this calendar year. Like we were getting the ball, moving it out quick, passing it inside quick, getting in behind players, playing 1-2s in the last third. Everyone in the business for themselves in the last 25 minutes. I mean, Georgie Rutter's shot from the edge of the box is a wild swing. Then Pirro has a wild swing as well from the edge of the box. You're forcing it. You're all trying to do it on your own. You're all trying to have that big moment where you get Leeds back in the game, but stick to the game plan. Keep moving the ball. Keep waiting. Be patient. Wait for your gaps. But there was no movement. There was nothing going to happen there. It was as predictable as you could have got. I mean, the ball from Joseph through to Pirro is the one kind of really smart movement in the final third where Leeds unlocked the defense a little bit, and then he has to do better than that as well to get to goal. He has to expect it, and you would imagine his confidence is pretty high because he's already scored a pretty good goal. So, took this one in the corner, same as he did the last one. Tries to be too clever, but a lot of it just comes down to a lack of movement for me. Space is created by movement, and we didn't move today. No space.
No, and it goes back to what you were saying a few weeks ago, where, you said it quite a lot actually. When Leeds play slow, we look very, very average at times. We don't look like the same team when we play it slow, and that's exactly what we were doing because we didn't. Yeah, we were making forward runs, but they were all predictable. They were all either just straight down the line. There was no winger cutting into the middle and then the fullback pushing out. There was nothing to confuse defenders. It was all right in front of them, and they could see everything happening. And yes, we've won a few games whilst we played like that this year, but the games we've won where we've played like that has been from a moment of magic from Rutter to take it past and create something magic. And when Rutter's off his game and Somerville isn't having his best game either, and we don't have that individual quality, then we can't win football matches when we play slow like this.
I just want to, listen, I just want to come in as well. Like, football, can I just say, right? Football isn't as linear, folks, as just blaming one individual. I keep seeing it in the chat. We have all sat here, like, open your fucking ears, right? We have all sat here and said Bamford was poor. We have all said it. So I don't understand why everyone... We're not trying to defend the indefensible. He wasn't great. Hasn't been. And we'd probably all sit here and say, yeah, Joseph deserves a start now at home against Sunderland. But it's not as linear as just Bamford was to blame for all that. Just like when we lost against or drew against bloody Watford, it wasn't all Cooper's fault. Do you know what I mean? There's people outside of that. You just have agendas. Relax. Listen to what the lads are saying and you might learn something. That's what I'm doing. So I haven't spoke for 10, 15 minutes because I'm listening. Because what they're saying is right. Football isn't as linear as just blaming it on one person. And if you want to go get them takes elsewhere because you won't get it here. End of discussion. Now, right, boys, Max, can we turn this around? Can we, we've now got 2 home games. You've got Sunderland on Tuesday. Like, we have to now go and win that game. Ipswich have got Watford away. It's now time, game face on 5 more games. It would be really, really bad had Ipswich also won. But they didn't. So there's a point, and like you've said, there is a goal difference in our favour. So all we need is a point and them to lose, and then we're in second. So talk to us, man. I
mean, look, it's just like the stress of this stage of the season, isn't it? That makes everybody think that the world's falling apart if we've lost this game. Yes, we've lost the game, right? But we go away to... Is it away or is it at home to Sunderland, isn't it? Because we lost away at Sunderland.
Yeah, we've got 2 home games now.
Look, 2 home games. That's massive. You can't take that... you can't underestimate how big that is for us, considering how good we've been at home all season. Even when we play badly, we get the job done at home. And I think that will massively help us. So, look, as I say, we bounce straight back. I say that I think as well, the reason we weren't so great today, some of the reason was Gruev carrying knocks, not 100% fit, Nonto, not 100%, basically loads of us. Yeah. And also, Jorginho looked like he picked up a knee injury early on, and every now and again I could see him holding it throughout the game. So I don't think he was 100%. So, yeah, we're going to have a fitter, better squad by the time that we get to that game. And I think we're going to bounce back because who was it that said, Ampadu said in that interview, I think, that we hate losing. This team hates losing, which obviously everybody hates losing, but they hate it so much that they very rarely do it. They've done it once this year. So I think it's just like, you just have to take a step back and get the context of where we are in this situation. Ipswich also lost. So just like I said at the start, or the start of when I joined, we just have to be better than one of them, not both.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you, mate, and I expect Farke to ring the changes on Tuesday. I think Nonto, if fit enough, will come in on the right hand side. I think outside of that, probably Joseph up top. And then I'm not too sure there'll be anything more from that. Maybe even Gray for Roberts. I don't know. JT, how are you feeling, bro? How are you feeling ahead of the next two home games? Not been beaten yet, have we?
I'm not feeling good. Not feeling good. To be honest with you, I'm not feeling good because it's no longer in our hands. Can we turn this around? Do we have the ability to? Yes, but I mean, listen, you talk about Ipswich losing as a good thing for Leeds. So this doesn't mean much to me because typical Leeds, right as I'm starting to feel like we're not cursed anymore, the curse is gone. we do what we've done for the past 10 years, which is a team around us falls off. We have an opportunity to capitalize in a key moment and we piss it away. And pardon my French, we completely just blow it away. And that is just deflating. It's very, very deflating to watch that happen. And you watch Ipswich plucking out a 96th minute winner, and you watch Leicester plucking out an 87th minute winner today. And you watch Leeds. We have an opportunity to get an equaliser in the 90th minute. Joel Perreault, one of the most gilt-edged chances I've ever seen. If Bamford missed, look, fair play to Perreault for his goal. I thought it was very well taken. But that miss, if Bamford misses that, people are giving him effigies on the street right now, but no one seems to be talking about what a huge moment that was for Leeds to miss that opportunity there. I just couldn't believe my eyes. I felt like being swallowed into the ground when I saw that. But do I have faith? Yeah, of course. I have faith in the manager. I have faith in the players. I have no reason not to. It's still been a phenomenal season. I can't complain in that sense. It's just that everyone else keeps winning. It just reminds me of that, that City-Liverpool year when Company 100%. Scored that goal and then won 14 straight games. And if we don't, with the fact that we lost that unbeaten record this year, the fact that we just don't look anything the same. Since we come back from the international break, defensively, we don't look assured at all. Even with the original defense back in there, there's still so many gaps. The midfield looks awful. The injuries aren't helping us. I have to have blind faith, but right now it's hard because it's not in our hands. And I actually wanted to go in with a few-point gap over whoever's in third, because we still got Southampton on the last game of the season. Do I think they're going to be vying for top 2? No, but they're a team with a lot of quality. The pressure will probably be off them. They'll be gearing up for the playoffs, and they're good. They would love to ruin our season on the last day. They would absolutely love it. So that's still in the back of my head that we have them coming up. Ipswich have already beaten them. So I know that sounds negative, but I have blind faith that we will do.
We always do better when we play first. Like, when we're the first one of the weekend, I think it was before the Watford game. I think we were the first one. We were playing on Friday nights and stuff, the first one of the weekend, about 4 or 5 times in a row. And we were just winning those games, just going through and winning those games, because we don't know what the other teams are going to do at that point. So we're like, okay, we're just going to go out and try and win our game. So we don't know what's going to happen. We tend to do well when that's the situation. But when another team drops points, it's like, well, how can we just not win a game of football when that's the situation, when it's not that much different?
Yeah, no, I agree. Big up to Christopher. Big up, mate. Thank you so much for supporting the channel as always. I don't think there's much more else we can say apart from I'm going to let Joe finish us up and just tell us that everything's going to be all right. Hold me, Joe. Hold me.
Records are there to be broken, and we've had our undefeated streak from the start of the year. At least that monkey's off their back. If they were feeling pressure that's gone. They can get back to try and concentrate on the football now. I think he needs to make changes for Tuesday night. I think there's an energy that needs to come back, and I wouldn't be against seeing Willie Nunn to come in as number 10 even. I'll keep praying for that until that happens. It'll never happen, but I'll keep asking. But I think he needs more energy in that team now. And, I'll probably do it on my own review in the morning. I'll kind of show what I'm talking about with wingers going and marking fullbacks and how little space it causes. But we've got time. We've still got time. 100%. It might not be exactly in our hands, but it's not completely out of our hands either. Win our games, do our job. We can pick up 6 points in the next 2 games.
Yeah.
Just pressure on everybody else to do the same thing. And pressure does weird things this time of the year. I still think we go up. I still think we go up.
Yeah.
I don't think the world is on fire by a long way. Had Ipswich won today, possibly a different conversation, but they didn't. Yeah. So with a little bit of getting out of jail with today, but put it away, put it behind us. I said it, look, put it behind us, move on to the next game. Focus on the next one. Get the performances back up again.
Yeah, be safe in the knowledge, folks, that Ipswich have got to go away to Coventry and got to go away to Hull in the space of a few days. That ain't going to be easy for them.
Unless we have Southampton as well.
Yeah. We've now got 2 home games and we've been imperious at home. If we lose that home record against Sunderland, who can't fucking buy a win at the minute, then maybe we can have a conversation. But we're all right at the minute, folks. Don't worry. Many more twists and turns, and we've got the best man for the job. Make sure you check out Max at Leeds Lately, Joe at Leeds United The View, and JT at JT Live. I'm off for a lay down before WrestleMania. If you're a wrestling fan, enjoy WrestleMania because it is going to be lit this week.
Yeah, I want to have a nap as well. There's just no time, man.
Yeah, nap time. Right, folks. Thanks, everyone. And final word will be back tomorrow where hopefully everyone's, relaxed and that. Peace out.